ranked in previous games, converting kills, converting gold into towers. This time they are cutting lanes. They're quickly moving things forward. A huge knockup. Sekai's trying to get away, but TNZ picks it up once again. Yoom's in a bad spot as well, up against Siggy Boom.
Oh, bana da.
He's gonna make his way up. Should be able to escape, but still Aurora Gaming 6K gold lead.
Yeah, never mind. Aurora Gaming, usually it's like I take the territory and then you have to move somewhere. But even when Selangor Red Giants try to reclaim some territory, Aurora Gaming were there and they're like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. Innocent in the bottom lane. We bullied him. You're not going to get face, not at all. And even if you do, we're gonna take you down. So it's a bad trade in the end. A turret tier 1. Oh, look at that damage, my guy. What is that damage? Oh, my lord!
Here comes TNZ as well. Another tower's gonna drop here. Innocent trying to defend, trying to get some damage off. He doesn't have the frog armor. He's in a bad spot. Tsunami slam, but it's right into all members of Aurora Gaming. And SRG are shattering right now. Sekai's drops next as Siggy Boom pops off.
TNZ survived that! He got caught in the flicker Tsunami slam, brought right into the Mounted Shocker, but it wasn't enough though. Innocent!
He's an assassin with more health bar. And they dive in. Lunar takes out Innocent. Lunar takes out Stormy. Lunar with the double kill. And a Lord is coming soon.
Aurora Gaming are stomping Selangor Red Giants. Nice steal, Pagu. Lord slain by Pagu. That's going to be a stat later on. I don't know how we're going to figure that out, but Pagu's going to have one Lord in the stat sheet. They don't care about turrets. This is an assassin with more HP. They've done it. They went in, and man, Aurora Gaming looks so good this game. It really looks like they should be able to get more. But remember, wave clear is still really good. Again, flicker Tsunami slam right into the Mountain Shocker, and Tenzi's just sitting there saying, nah, bruh.
I'm an assassin with more HP, bro.
I'm an assassin with more HP,
You're
bro.
my boy.
And then Uranus Lunar is just like, yeah, Uranus, yo.
Another purple buff. Lord coming soon, like a movie near you.
Man, I don't know about this. SRG should still be able to clear it out. Oh, the Holy Shield gets broken right before.
Oh, Pagu makes the play. Siggy Boom jumping onto the back line as well as Rosa puts damage on SRG. The Lord cracks through the base in the face of Aurora Gaming. SRG trying to defend.
Usually you see teams knock on the door. They're barging through.
And there's no way to do it. Aurora Gaming, look the Giants in the eye and tell them match point.
A shocker. Who gets to match point first? It is Aurora Gaming who do it first. 2-1 in the best of 5 here in the upper brackets. We were saying, man, Siege is going to be bad. It's going to be difficult for them to knock on the door. But I guess it ain't difficult to kick the goddamn door down with a horse and a tech charge, bro. Hey, Redmar, I'm on your side. I'm stealing that tech charge all day, yo. Vacation! It wasn't even in the Valentina! Yeah, because you was she didn't show up. You know what? The Valentina would have been good. Steal away that tech charge. Got tech charge for tech charge. But no, we gotta give it to Pagu. Pagu was on point. It wasn't just the tech charge, bro. Constantly going into the jungle, setting the tempo. They are setting the narrative of the Rome mid trio story.
That is how a Leomord jungle works. Especially with a Freya at the goal. I don't even know how this happened, but you look at this draft without the context, without watching the game, you'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah, a lot of bad moves. The early game completely compromised. Multiple losing lanes. Sigubum was initially losing his lane, but was able to recover afterwards after a good call from Pagu to bail him out. And from that point onwards, I have to admit, SRG, you know how to put on a show. You know how to make things interesting.
Oh, come on.
This is the moment where we're expecting to see the turnaround, because at this point, what else is there? An outclass? Sure, but that's just the early game. Fix that. We're going to have a completely different side.
I was like Cope right now, dude.
You sound like me talking about the Grockles earlier.
I'm telling you, only the real fans are sticking around at this point.
Hey, talking about the real fans, I imagine the millions watching from at home in Istanbul, all around Turkey, screaming, Aurora Casanyor! Because just one more way, and Aurora drop SRG into the lower bracket. Let that sink in. One game away, and this wasn't even, all right, we're talking about non-SRG games. Game 3 is a non-SRG game. That is the least SRG game I've seen from them in years.
The last time I've seen them take a loss like that, not even in MSC against Liquid, it was MSC 2024 when, right before heading into Game 7, then Falcons AP Bren won a Game 6 with a complete stomp with like a Bruno and a Faramis. It was that long ago since we've seen something like this delivered to SRG. We gotta give all the credits to Aurora Turkia's coaching staff. Bad Galsef, Apex 47 said, you know what, I see a guy better than me, his name is Pagu. Put me in the coaching staff, I'm willing to put my seat away and then just help guide this kid. And he is guiding this team alongside Bad Galsef, alongside with this new roamer so well. Pagu plays like an absolute star.
He's good. I gotta give it to him. He is really nasty on this graph because it's not about just the macro and how he rotates and reads into it because the whole team is prepared for this, but more so his patience of how long he would hold his ability and how decisive when he says, this is a dive angle, Tektron flicker instantly underneath their tower. They know exactly what they want. He's 0, 0, and 11 the entirety of the game. If we're talking about pressure, Pagu is rock solid.
There's got to be something to his early game builds. I don't know if I tracked correctly, if even on the hill that he did this, but this man has a penchant for Chastise Pauldron. Early game, this is his first big item. He always picks it up. Something about the way the metagame is evolving and how Moonton has built this new item, gave it to us, seems to be something he figured out first.
Yeah, I would love to answer that question because Chastise Pauldron is a ridiculous item in the early stages, especially if it's first pick, right? Because keep in mind, as he is going into a lot of these fights, who is the target 90% of the time? Oh wait, Yums, if you want to heal, you have to use auto attacks. Imagine if your auto attacks are a little bit slower. Same goes for Yi Shin if he wants to change from lane into melee. Worst yet, that's why he goes 0 and 11. How are you going to kill him with the Chastise Pauldron passive?
So this kind of redefines the math involved. Usually you think, oh, it's an anti-attack speed item. I'll get it late game because that's when all of the attack speed items come in. No, you build it early so they don't even get to build it.
It's a limit breaker.
What they've done here to put so much focus and priority in the Roamid trio, not just in the picks, but in the items, the timers, when they invade. I'm scared of this Stormy Farsa pick, but we did not feel it at all because if Yums and Stormy continuously get pressured, that Sekais has no game at all, the Roamid trio is no longer a question.
And even if it was Sekais they were attacking, I kind of feel bad for Innocent as well. He, picked up the Autobots' scout. He put on a performance from Game 2, and then Game 3, he was forced to play the X-Borg. Where do you even go from here, right? Well, he couldn't get anything on Sigiboom. They couldn't even call for a swap because the map was literally on fire. Where do you go next? Stormy? Sure, they gave him his best hero, one might argue. Still a non-starter.
Big problem is the fact is Aurora know how to bleed a lead every single time. Oh, Yi Shin's out. He missed his Reggie. Perfect. What's next? Because when we see SRG respond to this, who is there to answer the call? 90% of the time, it's going to be the support, the mid laner, or at least the EXP. And we saw that the EXP could not contest. Who has to take the damage? Stormy.
You also have to credit Sigiboom with how he handled Innocent in the gold lane. For the first 4 levels, right before Last Insanity was picked up by Innocent, it was him pushing Sigiboom back. He made the great call of, instead of giving up and just going back to base, he dove back under tower knowing like, wait, there's still the damage reduction. I'm going to be able to survive this. I still also have a little bit of shield. And he didn't miss out on that wave, which gave time for the rest of Aurora to back him up, which then eventually led to the first death of Innocent. After that, Sigiboom did not let go of control at all in the gold lane. Innocent was always forced back. It was Sigiboom who was just completely tearing through that export. And with the mid lane trio already losing, they couldn't help Innocent.
And now we go back to the start. Rosa said, our mid trio can beat yours, even if they gave over the best heroes per role, one might argue. I don't think anyone will say Yi Shin is not top 2 heroes right now. No one would say Stormy's Farsa is mid. Hell, the Kalia and Yums, that thing is iconic. Yet still, look at where Aurora is now. Match point.
Here's my biggest concern for SRG. Why are they building a composition that's not designed around the laning phase and purely playing for these big team fights, all dependent independent, neutral, objective style of compositions. Because right now, the way that Aurora is playing, all right, you play around your cooldowns, but what happens when you don't? We fight better. Our composition has shorter cooldowns, needs less resources to get more done. And I think that SRG really is leaning too much into this Yishin Shin. It needs to change. And if you give it over to TNZ, that might just open up a new prerogative to say, hey, we can now start attacking you in the lanes itself.
I was just about to ask, is it time for SRG to let go of the Yishin Shin?
I think they got to give it up.
I may have mentioned once or twice in the draft for Game 3, maybe it's Sekais who can afford a utility pick, and maybe now it's time.
Yeah, he really needs to get changed up with a pick for Sekais, because that's 3 games in a row. Yes, again, game number 1, his KDA was respectable, but it wasn't really a lot of the impact that we were looking for. Eventually, of course, Aurora took that game number 1. Something needs to change up in the center of the map. It's so interesting that Aurora decided going into this day, hey, we're going to tackle what has been the biggest threat for a lot of teams going up against SRG, and we're going to be able to match that. We also have to credit Rosa from being there every single time Pagu was getting all of that information, disrupting the jungling pattern of Sekais, that Rosa was there to say thank you, Pagu, for all these kills. He ended this 7-0-7. This is one of the best Lunox performances we've had this M7.
Yeah, crazy, because if not Pagu, maybe the MVP would have been Rosa. If not Rosa, then maybe TNZ, but the numbers on that Leomord weren't as high as an 11 assist, no death Grok, or a 707 Lunox, so I guess it was a toss-up between the roamer or the mid laner.
At this point, I think it's clear to see that Aurora is much better when it comes down to understanding a composition's tempo, and when you visibly see the resources being used, you are on a timer. That's something that SRG needs to keep in mind when going up into this next upcoming draft, because if they keep wanting to force this, it's not going to go well. The Yishin Shin is not working out when your laners are struggling, and especially when your mid trio is getting outclassed like this. There's too many relationships somebody must sacrifice, and unfortunately, I think it might either be Sekais or Cram.
I think you mentioned something very key here, Gideon. Don't force it. Anything you have to force, especially against a team like Aurora, is already a problem you're facing, and that's not even thinking of what they'll do on the map. So with that said, I'd say go back to comfort, but don't let Sekais wait for something to come. Let him be proactive minute 1.
Yeah, if Innocent is proactive in lane, and then Sekais is proactive in the jungle, not really disrupted, Yums and Stormy don't even need to rack up kills. They just need to protect their side of the river. And then that's the SRG that we know. It's 3 games now. 3 games!
Hey guys, Rose here, and right now I am with a representative from Selangor Red Giants. You know what, I'm pretty sure there are some people who may not know who you are, so could you please kindly introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Simon. I'm the co-founder for Selangor Red Giants.
I see another Malaysian is in the venue to show their support for SRG. Now, I was going through social media just now and I found out that you actually just landed in Jakarta. How was your journey like coming here today?
Yeah, I came late. I missed 2 games. You know, Jakarta, macet banget, Pak.
I'm pretty sure the traffic was tough on you. So you came here straight from the airport, and I'm pretty sure that you were probably surprised at what you came to.
Yes, unexpected. I think the boys will bounce back. So let's see.
Simon, you still believe that they have what it takes to bounce back?
Yes, for sure.
A 2-1. But let's talk about you as the co-founder of SRG. What do you think so far about SRG's journey in the M7?
Oh, this time the journey is very good. The boys look so sharp. They look good. They train harder than before. The boys wants to win this.
They're very hungry for that.
Yes, and also we are very excited for next season for MPRMY. We got a slot. We just got a slot 2 days ago. Oh shit! Oops, I cannot review this.
Did you just accidentally confirm that SRG will be in the MPL MY season 17, Simon?
I don't know whether I can say this or not. Oops.
Oh my. Now let's talk a little bit about SRG as a whole. We know that last year back in Malaysia during the M6, they had a very shaky start in the Swiss stages, and now you guys are actually snowballing through the Swiss stages. But for your second game in the knockout, it seems a bit shaky. What's the difference?
You talk difference between M6 and M7. This M7, we are more prepared. We are used to the Swiss stage because in M6 it's the first time for us playing in Swiss stage, which is BO1. So now we are so much better and our preparation are so much better.
I think we could see that. Now, Simon, you have already teased us a little bit about you guys being in the MPL MY Season 17. Well, then perhaps you could tease us more. Will there be any lineup changes? Will we see any addition to the side of SRG? Or you guys are going to be keeping this exact same lineup?
Right now, I think we focus on M7 first because you talk about next season. I have not talked to the coaches yet and the players as well because I don't want to disturb them. I want them to go fully focused and hopefully we can win the M7 back to Malaysia.
Wow. And of course, being the only Malaysian representative left in the M7, because previously in the Swiss stages, last day of the Swiss stages, we had to unfortunately send CG Esports home. Do you guys feel any extra pressure with regards to this?
Sorry, I cannot hear.
Do you guys feel extra pressured being the only Malaysian representative left in the M7?
Yes, of course. We are the only Malaysian team left, and we know the community of Mobile Legends in Malaysia are fully supporting us, and they have high hopes for us. So the pressure is there, but the boys and the coaches, they are used to it.
Wow, you're saying SRG is really used to the pressure from the Malaysian community. Perhaps we know that a lot of Malaysians are actually watching, and I heard some of the Malaysians even flew into Jakarta to support SRG. Perhaps a word for the fans?
Yes, to all the fans that flew all the way to Jakarta, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And also on behalf of all the teams, behalf of the players, the coaches, thank you so much. And those who are at the watch party and those who are watching at home or wherever you are supporting us, thank you so much.
Wow, that's very sweet. Any words for your boys? Because I see that they're already here. Anything you want to say to them?
To the players, I know you got this. I have confidence. You guys gonna win next game. Let's go.
Oh my. I think Simon wants to push this game to a full best of 5 series. Thank you very much for having a chat with me, Simon. I hope you get to rest and enjoy the rest of your stay here in Jakarta. It is now time to see if we are able to push this series to a whole best of 5 series. So without further ado, let us throw it back to the panel.
The thing, when it comes to these two teams, especially SRG, we know they can recover from a moment like this. So we're going to toss you on over to an interview with Simon that we saw, and it was great to hear from Simon, of course, the co-founder of SRG, to really talk to us more about the team. And, well, now SRG sees them in a very familiar spot that, well, to be fair, they haven't seen in a while. Backs against the wall. Lower brackets staring at them. We got to talk about this. What do they do? What do they need to do against this Aurora Turquía squad, who for 3 games now have decimated their mid-trio?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to questioning who's got to take one for the team. And I'm not going to lie, Simon did bring up some really good points here when it comes down to just making sure you can maintain that pressure overall. And it's important that you don't crumble under it. Looking from the facial expressions of the players, guys is trying to keep everybody in check. And I'm pretty sure that Innocent as well as Cram are doing okay, but it's that mid-trio that they've got to work on that laning phase. Too many times we're losing battle spells pre-level 1, pre-level 2, and I think it's less about the mid-trio and more of the mid-duo that's making the difference.
Yums and Sekai's, Yums and Stormy. I was gonna say, Sekai's, despite being beaten down as a Yisun Shin 3 games in a row, is uncharacteristically okay. You're right. I'd like to say that Yums and Stormy have to step up, and now the question of who's gotta give way. Is it someone from both of them, or maybe someone else, in the side lanes, maybe? Cram! Is that a valid argument?
It is a value argument, but I feel like right now, Innocent has kind of been giving up a lot for the draft, making sure that he's able to stay flexible with his fights. He's good on it, don't get me wrong, but I think now they need to revert back to the comforts, get him back onto a marksman one more time.
So you're talking about the weight of Red 5. The fact that we waited for you to be the last pick. We expect you to win the friggin' matchup. What's happening?
He did win the landing phase, don't get me wrong. He did win it. It's just the team fights on CC just kind of awkward getting into these fights.
Okay, we don't talk about that one because they won that one. They did MVP, but I'm talking like game 3, dog. I'm talking about give me Bumblebee.
Give me Bumblebee again. I don't know. The export is a little tough to say because it's just not enough of a lead that we saw him generate in the lane to make the difference. And eventually he evened out by the time we got into the mid game. Anyways, because he has to be part of these turtle fights. Now, my faith in God only goes so far, but I need to see SRG really show us something that they are touched, or maybe at the very least have a direction to attack Aurora. Because from the way that I'm seeing right now, if Yums can maintain this type of performance in the 2v2 lane pre-level 1, I think that the game is pretty much done and dusted if he dies again.
We talked about this leading into this matchup. The importance of your dueling for the first 3-4 minion waves that come out through the center of the map. A lot of matches, this M7 World Championship, have been determined by the little chess match of absolute detail-focused gameplay that is the duel between the Roamid trio and the eventual entry of the jungle, maybe for a quick attempt at a gank, quick attempt at a clear, and then rotating out of that. We now look towards Lunar and Cram, who Cram's usual demeanor and personality a little bit more muted this time around, considering that, well, Aurora have been making it hard for Cram to get those moments where he crams out, crams up.
Yeah, the last time he was cramming around was him on that Uranus. And then from then on, he's like, wait, I gotta take this seriously.
I mean, he used to be incredible, but now it just feels like he will collapse at any time, right? And I think it's at the cost of the draft. If he is given something that can force out plays rather than just Esme and Uranus every single time, we might see a game changer, because that's the big problem. All the drafts we've seen so far, where is the tempo breaker? Who's the one who says, I don't care, even though it's not on our turn to attack, I will make the difference.
So is it time for Mr. Rusiana to pick up the dragon?
Please, dear God, give it to him.
Yeah, where has Yuzong played this entire series?
He's never played the dragon.
Yeah, all right, now, if they want to do setup for the dragon, I do hope that he might have to get rid of that Lunox, because I will admit, Rose's Lunox was kind of nasty with it. Like, I don't, even if we switch out that Esmeralda for the Yuzong, I think the exact same scenario would have occurred.
Yeah. In game number 2, you were asking about where's that tempo breaker. Well, that's where we saw it. That's where they ended up getting that win. It was through the Phobius of Cram as well, breaking the tempo of Aurora when they were trying to end it, making the most out of the dark waves, and of course just him being able to jump and draw attention towards him away from the rest of the team. So maybe that's where we have to go back to, picks like that. We haven't even seen Lapu this entire season.
Yeah, he has played Lapu, he has played CC, but that's not enough. I think there has to be something else in the proverbial satchel for the team captain of SRG. It's him. I personally am going to pin it on him. He has to be the one to sacrifice to buy the rest of the map time to equal the odds to get us to game 5.
He's done it once before. He might have to do it again. But coming into this draft, let's first answer the most important question. Is it red? Is it blue for either Aurora or SRG?
Past 2 games have been Aurora blue side. With a 1-1 in that regard. SRG goes back to blue, starting it off where we started off this series. Game number 1, they banned out Fanny, Eve, and Freya, while Aurora Gaming banned out Grok, Jusin, and Kimmy.
Pretty standard bans all across the board. I want to see if SRG is going to just stick to their guns, right? Ban out Fanny, get rid of the Eve on top of it. Then we should see from the opposite side that Aurora is not going to touch the pods and gets rid of the Jushin. Yep, pretty quickly. Standard bans across the board.
Do they do a Kimmy ban last for Aurora in Red 3? And then for SRG, is this a Sora ban? Then they first pick, what, CC or something? Has it come to that?
I think it has to be a CC at this point.
At this point, sorry. They need a confidence booster.
Yeah.
They need an absolutely dominating game just to get the mental back in.
Still, though, there are a lot of top pick still available. Are they willing to give Yums his Kalea again? Talked about the Claude. You've talked about the Sora. Yes, Claude has not been shown up. Yu Zhong maybe finally does show up as the first pick. CC gets banned by SRG.
Ooh, rather ban it. Opening Sora. They're giving Aurora the ultimatum here. Ban the Sora or we pick it first. But yeah, now you wonder, do they put Luna on the Rose on the Valentina? Or do they risk it? Do they check Siki Boom and say, Siki Boom, are you ready to Valentina Gold Lane?
I think,
is that even a thing?
I mean, yes. I think it's more than likely if Claw gets picked up that it's most likely going to be Sora on the opposite side because I feel like it's more devastating when you have to play Valentina in a laning phase that's not good for you, which is again one of the big weak points of picking Valentina just in general.
Ban the Sora. So just to avoid the whole situation, just ban the Sora.
I think they need to leave it open and yep, ban of the Uranus. Here it is. Here it is. Sora, Claude, one or the other. Or they just ignore it and go Kalea once again. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yums has kind of been on and off today. If I was in Coach Becky's position, I'm looking at Arcadia as just like, give him Claude.
Yeah. And then it's a carry. And then with all of the very aggressive rotations in the mid, I think SRG keep banking on the idea that we need someone that doesn't need to take time to farm for our gold lane. We need someone that can be impactful right away because Aurora's taking it to our mid trio, and if we go for a farmer gold, that feels like a lost.
Not just a loss. Yeah. It's a loss.
The clouds are ever shifting.
Oh!
But this
Yep, there it is.
one
All right.
moves
Well,
steadfast.
first, is this SRG's first time on the sword of the series?
This series, yes.
Yeah. All right. So this is a decision that Coach Bad Seth and Coach Apex said, okay, it's Operation Match Point. I don't know what that is exactly, but they clearly just let this through. They banned the Uranus. They thought that was more important. Is it right? Is it wrong? We don't know yet.
They're going to go with the Kimmy. They're going to go with the Freya this time around. And that's not a bad idea because at least with the Freya, even when you're facing off against the Sora, pre-level 4, you're absolutely just punching Sora in the face and there's nothing much you can really do about it. The Kimmy is interesting though. Is this punishable? Because it feels like they're kind of baiting SRG and saying, you know what? You can have the laning phase, but at the very least, if we pick Farsa, we're going to blast you out of the water later in the game. But the whole story for the past 3 matches is we win early game. Generally, we should win the game in general.
Game 3 was a prime example of that. I think 10.5 minutes is a little too slow for Aurora. If I'm reading their movement from Game 3 right.
Freya, basic attack. Oh! They want to give Aurora a taste of their own medicine.
Okay, does that mean Pagu gets access to Cho? Give him the Cho. Do you need to show your jungler at this point? I feel like Valentina might be a consideration as a potential flex, but now that you've already got the Kimmy, you kinda are guessing whether or not you're gonna put Lunar on it.
Lunar, as well, has not played El Dragon. Oh wow, I think there's just those kinds of teams in M7. It's like, are you a dragon or not?
The thing about picking up the dragon here is that most likely you'll have 3 bodies on your backline jumping on you. The Leomord, the Sora, and whatever the roam will be here for you. That if you go dragon, I feel like it's gonna hurt more. So at least they have an extra body to help peel. They're gonna need that Unbreakable to get that taunt off.
No, man, this Gato is really good pick inside Aurora. Really well played by them. They're going to be making sure that they're banning out the Phoveus alongside it, which means they want something with multiple dashes inside the jungle or outside of it. SRG, on the other hand, where are the other points of contention, right? Because they've been consistently banning out the Guinevere each and every time. And then maybe the +1 in the jungle. They did try to adapt it a little bit more, but it doesn't seem like that game plan was working out on the red side.
Was it Guinevere Joy? Guinevere Hayabusa.
Shin?
I think. If I'm Aurora, I'd want to see them pick. I'd want to see them get the Guinevere here. So if SRG can take it out, take it out.
Yep, there it is. Okay. So what's left? Lancelot, Hayabusa, split second response, taking out that Granger. Still no clear pick in the gold lane. Just making sure that, you know what, Innocent, you got it. That better be yours.
Okay.
This is a really tough one. This is a really tough one. Because if we're following back on the traditional pattern, this should also be another jungle ban for the side of SRG, even if it's on the blue side. I'm trying to think, are there any linchpin picks that could, maybe, I don't know, pull a little bit of the thread of this t-shirt to hopefully unravel it?
Is there room for TNZ to have a utility? That's another question.
Yeah.
We're not considering the box.
If they want to play for the Freya and Kimmy, then they go something like Fred, right?
Welcome to the greatest mag show
Or,
of
of
all
course,
time.
just the hyper-aggressive TNZ's Harley.
They were hesitant to team fight with that Harley around, so understandable. I thought that maybe SRG would be confident enough to not even let it get to the point where it's going to be a threat. So.
Well, no, I mean, the reason why the Harley came out was because Zetian was already there for the MR Shred. Now that you don't have the MR Shred, and considering that Uranus is already gone, those are the two main picks that you want to pair up with the Harley. So I don't see Harley coming into this, considering that his only main target is going to be this Farsa. At that point, anything with a dash will be just as good.
So what's he going to end up with? Utility or Assassin? The utility changes the focus to a carry through the Kimmy and the Freya. They go for Terizla. They needed stability. They needed that BOS.
That's really smart. That's really smart. Oh my goodness. Even if they do get Yuzhong on that side, it's going to be a bit like, yeah, you'll kind of win out the lane, but not enough to kind of kick the ankles out of Lunar.
Yeah. At that point, Lunar is just making sure he gets to penalty zone as fast as possible. That's it.
Well, I mean, there's also the lane prior as well. He clears way faster than Sora or whatever next pick is going to come out.
And we're about to find out. That's where I'm a little skittish still. I don't know what is in the EXP lane or the gold lane, and I don't know what Yun is rocking. What are you trying to do here? Do you Cho?
I think he goes Cho and then forces people to take Purify, right?
But do they have enough blasting power to make sure that whoever they kick gets killed? They don't.
Or they can go for Kalia, one or the other, right?
Victory is now.
Cho Esme, interesting.
Gold lane Sora. That's Innocent specialty.
Time to drop the beat
There's
of
the
the
joy.
Man, this is a really good draft from Aurora. Gotta give it to them. A lot of interesting ways that they can play this, because if this comes down to a messy, like, one fight you already lose a couple of people, and then afterwards you're thinking about the next fight to happen within the next 5 seconds, I think even then, on a lane per basis, yeah, Aurora should be able to kind of hold up if necessary, but the counter index says otherwise a minus 0.5.
So, is the SRG man showing a vote of confidence for Aurora's draft here?
I would say that I still gotta lean into SRG. I'm sorry.
This is SRG's first Leomord. I'm not so sure. I'm with Aurora.
Will we go to game 5, or will it mean that SRG goes down to the lower bracket here and Aurora Turkey will get their best finish for their region in mlbb history? Mirko, Trex, tell the story.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Land of Dawn match point for Aurora Gaming. We heard the panel. Gideon is with SRG. Leo is with Rora. I'm with Trex. Trex, who are you with?
I am with Aurora Turkey A here right
Okay.
now. I think the draft is clean. Don't get me wrong. There's always potential for SRG, but Aurora this time also has a clean late game potential. And that's where SRG's been getting the comeback. So can SRG do what Aurora did last time and aggressively? Oh, that is what they need.
Wait a second.
Cram under the tower.
Way too greedy, Cram. Oh my goodness, playing.
Go back there.
Yeah. Play over. Oh my god.
First blood, possibly Humes, takes a lot of damage, able to just dash through with the Sun Po.
Okay, so at least Lango Red Giants are like, we need to try to be more aggressive, right? We need to try to beat Aurora Gaming at their own game, especially considering we have a fighter now in the jungle. But the thing is, they gotta respect the fact that some of these guys are extra tanky. Some of these guys have a revitalize still. Pagu didn't even have to use that, and they won it out. Luckily, Yums didn't have to flicker too, so that's a positive. Let's take a look at the emblems here. Nothing too crazy, honestly, all throughout. It's still the weapon mastery for the Freya that we've seen in the Swiss stage as well. Yeah, it really is just the standard emblems for everybody. I guess for Stormy, usually we would see some Farsas go for pull yourself together when they're on flickered Farsa, but he wants a bit more mobility with the Wilderness Blessing.
I do agree that SRG needs to be aggressive here, but they do still need it. They need Stormy to hit level 4.
Yeah.
They need that Feathered Airstrike to outrange Rosa. They need Yums to hit level 4. And then I think that's their time to shine. But TNZ, as always, pushing in on the mid. Feathered Airstrike does come down. Stormy finally locks in with the level 4, but uses it right before Turtle.
Yeah, that's a big win. Aurora Gaming are really trying to bait out the Phantom Steed away, but it's not going to happen right now. TNZ fully stacked up.
For an angle, Electrifying Beats comes out. Yums able to get the knockup, doesn't have the Wave of the Dragon just yet. Rosa trying to lock onto Cram. Turtle still in the hands of SRG right now as the NC's forced to go back to base.
Yums surviving there. Could sidestep away from skill 1 to Lunar Turtle for Selangor Red Giants. Again, through the prio that they have in the bottom lane, XP, they were able to just go in, push forward. Despite Sigibum being able to rotate, TNZ had lost too much HP. And that's why, for me, the Joy pick is the only thing that I was like, no. The Terizla was amazing. I thought they were just going to double down into the early game again. But with this Joy now, Alex Mine beats.
Does land on a Cram, but still, Aurora Gaming. I mean, I think it's the right play, but they're taking this game much slower than what we've seen the past 3.
That's why I was concerned. Oh my god, the damage!
Rosa deleted, Paga with an AOG, but does not connect and does not help. It's too late. Aurora Gaming on the back foot this time.
And again, to go back to the point, that's why I didn't really like the Joy showing up there, because you already have a Kimmy in the mid lane, right? You're not super strong up until mid game. You do have a pretty strong level 1 to 2. That's when you can actually, get all stacks early and then start gunning the Lethal Wanderer down. But after that, this is what happens. You're very vulnerable. And again, Wave the Dragon with the Feather Airstrike, it just cancels you out. And with the Leomord as well there, they can really start snowballing. Selangor Red Giants technically can Aurora Gaming from the past. That's what we've seen.
Can they Aurora Gaming, the Aurora Gaming team? At this point, though, TNZ hasn't gone down yet, which is a good thing. Aurora Gaming only at about 1,000 gold lead deficit, 800 to 900 actually. This is the goal, right? Wait for second item spike. Wait for TNZ to come online. And SRG needs to, I think, stop that from happening. They need to, if I'm SRG, I think you push harder here. You really dig in.
That's why you got Aurora Gaming right now. You got to go enter the jungle, take things away from TNZ, starve them out. But they're not doing the best at that yet. Like, TNZ is still getting room, and mainly it's because of Pagu constantly just helping them out. Again, Aurora Gaming are kind of used to this. They actually, Lunar is trying his best to stop the cut. That's not going to happen. Esmeralda's just way stronger there.
That does get an advantage coming up on this Turtle. We're going to see Cram most likely rotate right up. Wait a second up at the top side. A lot of damage does land on a Sigibum. Sigibum just able to escape. But another Feathered Airstrike goes down from Stormy. Lord up. Look at Pagu and the rest of the team trying to make their way in.
No Flicker and no Valkyrie Descent.
Ooh, nice kick to the face. TNZ unable to get into the Turtle pit. SRG doing such a great job at zoning Aurora Gaming out of these fights.
Nothing Aurora Gaming can do right now to deal with this pressure. Again, if you take a look at the blueprint, hold on, Skies again taking away the green camp from Aurora Gaming. Now, Yums caught in a bad spot. They don't have to go in, and they won't. But back again to game 1 to game number 3. How have Aurora Gaming been able to actually outpace Selangor Red Giants when it comes to the early game? Winning mid prio, getting the winning mid matchup. Right now, it ain't it, right? Like, you have a pretty good mid matchup, but it's not something that can make you rotate and enable you to rotate around the map. You're just kind of there farming up instead of clearing, rotating. That's what Stormy's doing.
Stormy might not be able to get away from this one. Stormy finds the kill. That's going to be a tower as well. SRG are starting to push in, dig deep. And Aurora Gaming.
Wait a minute. More to come.
Penalty zone does come down. Lunar not going to be able to escape once again. Barbiel gets the kill. Sekai secures it. And now TNZ just trying to get his own purple. Luckily, he does that. But it's still a big loss for Aurora.
Now goes on an innocent, but he already used Electrifying Beats. First item, Genius Wand, is the choice here for TNZ. And that's quite late if we're thinking about things right now. He's very far behind compared to Skies. Look at Skies already with the Fury Hammer and the War Axe, man. Building towards the next item. honestly, from everybody here. You definitely see the big lead over from Cram as well, just constantly cutting the wave and forcing Lunar to rotate to lose out his own wave to turrets.
Noom's also doing such a better job this time on the Cho than what we saw last time. Even if he's not getting a big pick off, he's using that kick to zone them away right before objectives. He's not as aggressive on it, but he's technical with it. A lot of damage on a Stormy there. Magu looking for the re-engage, looking for the taunt. They do jump on to Yumes. Oh, enough to look at the chasing clouds. They're yoinked up. The response comes back. Siggy Boom trying to get out of the way. Feathered Airstrike does come down. Aurora Gaming doesn't lose anyone just yet.
Yeah, really good sustain by Aurora Gaming. Great maneuvers as well to escape. Now they're going to go in onto Cram, who's up top, but this is just a distraction, and I don't think they can beat him.
Oh my God, look at the damage. Cram under the tower. AOG to come in. If Cram gets away from this, he truly is immortal.
That's why he's immortal, folks. He's still human. But damn, that was impressive, man. Damn, Cram. Skies now with a Phantom Seed as well, just using it to get control over Purple Buff. And again, even though he's mortal, he died there, he ain't immortal, they get the Purple Buff. They get a tier 1 mid lane turret as well, so it's super worth it. There was no bounty on him. Valkyrie Descent now over on Stormy.
So much value for Cram there. Stormy gonna be able to get away. We're waiting on a Lord. 3 turtles going to the hands of SRG. Almost a 4,000 gold lead. 3 towers down. Aurora Gaming are still waiting on that power spike.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to hit, honestly, right? With the Kimmy and the Joy. I guess the Holy Crystal, but the thing is, when you're already on picks like this that need specific timers and you're behind, that means it gets delayed even more, because once you get the Holy Shield, Selangor Red Giants would already have enough of defenses to deal with it. So then you're going to have to wait for the next power spike, which is Divine Glaive, and at that point, you're just waiting for late game. You're just waiting all the way, and you can't really Aurora Gaming anymore. Again, for you guys who just tuned in, Aurora Gaming, the way they've won was through prio and winning early game hard to snowball. That's not it right now. For Aurora Gaming, their position, the way Selangor Red Giants have been positioned in the last 3 games, they're the ones fighting from behind.
Venom Zone does come in, but once again, the Clouds are able to catch Aurora Gaming up. AOG to respond. Rose is not quite there yet, but here comes Siggy Boom. Aurora Gaming might want to try to fight this. Siggy Boom continues with the onslaught, gets knocked back, and Aurora Gaming back off, but they are able to defend the tier 2.
So at least they have good clear. They have ways to deal with Selangor Red Giants if they overstep. Again, taking a look at the items, I really love Stormy's itemization. It's Yenzi.
Yenzi with the electrifying beats. The damage just isn't there at all. Sekai's doesn't even have magic defense items right now. He went for a brute force breastplate and still the damage isn't there.
Don't care. You don't care at all, man. He just got the tough boots. That is enough to deal with just a Genius Wand. Yes, at this point still, just a Genius Wand. He's building towards the Holy Crystal. He's getting closer, but with all the orange buffs being taken and him zoned away from even mini waves here, it's gonna be tough. Yums. Aw, dude. The constant fades from Yums on the Cho.
But he's being more patient this time with it, right? He's being more careful this time with it. Aurora Gaming on the defense, and this is what SRG did with the Turtles. They zone away Aurora Gaming, and Sekai just personally takes the neutral objective himself. He doesn't need the rest of his team there. Aurora Gaming has no way in.
They have too much zoning power right now, and honestly, there's not really enough damage still for Aurora Gaming to deal with Cram. That's him solo lording. Sky's picking it up. TNZ trying to make a cross-map play here. He's trying his best to just get some camps away, at least be able to breathe in this harsh climate that Selangor Red Giants have created for Aurora Gaming. And at this point, it really comes down to defending. Do they have as good clear as Selangor Red Giants in the previous games? I don't think so. But they do have wave clear, just with the Kimmy. They have good zoning, too, with the Goblin and the Terizla. Oh no, Tienzi.
Tienzi in a bad spot, electrifying beats. Decides not to go for it. Aurora Gaming just, I mean, they can't commit at this point. I think they want to, but they know there's just no way. You try to go in with all of these fighters, they have no range. You get kicked in the face by Yums, or you get a falling Star Moon, or, you know, something stops you in your tracks.
But it's on for Pagu. It's only on to Yums. Waves coming down, crashing into the mid lane. That's the Holy Shield down bottom lane as well. Aurora, they need to defend up top. That's the far lane.
There's no holy defense to stop the Lord. He will get the crash cleanly. In the backside, though, TNZ does use the electrifying beats. They're trying to lock on. Nice play of the Dragon Feathered Airstrike. Takes him off of the map. Base still on the defense As Pagu and the rest of the team move back, they give him over the inhibitor, the Lord, at about 20%. Aurora Gaming should be able to defend this if they don't make any huge mistakes, but more minions still coming.
Now in the mid lane they go. It's Stormy who's going in, trying to dish out a little bit more damage to the more cubes. Up to the G-Kudo, Innocent!
Oh, big play by Innocent, the knockback with the AOG to try to save the day, but it connects to nobody. Barbiel is out, Phantom Steed to cause some more damage. Feathered Airstrike comes down.
To Baser and down Krem! With a flicker in, a cannon minion on the base.
And a minion on the base, they will still be able to defend. All 5 members back on the field. Siggy Boom looking for a target. Oh, no Valkyrie's Descent just yet, but out it comes. A nice knock-off, and Innocent finally falls.
Wait, Skies, I don't know about this. Walks in way too aggressive.
Core Gaming trying to respond. That guy's in a bad spot, stuck against the wall. Can they get the finishing blow? He pushes back, and he takes out Rosa. Lunar finally takes him down, but down comes the Feathered Air move. Feathered Airstrike.
Now it's Cram trying to go and peel for the team, but Stormy's gonna be taken down. It's an all-in.
The NZ on the defense, Cram there as always. Start move lands on. Yenzi just able to get away. Does he re-engage? Purple buff still there. Yenzi is able to secure it, but Cram is relentless.
A long fight. And it goes in favor of Aurora Gaming in numbers, but Selangor Red Giants got everything they needed. 3 base turrets with Lord 1 is more than anything else, dude. They could have even been wiped out. They would still have proper timers to respawn back and to have the value. So right now for Selangor Red Giants, it's all about, okay, we got the base turrets, now how do we utilize the advantage? Let's not brawl against Aurora Gaming like that around Lord, right? Let's just wait for the wave, push up top. We already have a big item gap here. You can see a 2,600 goal lead for Cram, 1,400 for Skies. Cram.
Ooh, Cram caught up. Valkyrie's Descent. Cram might not be able to get away from this one. If he does, once again, he's a problem. Yumes does come in.
no.
AOG comes out just to keep Yumes away. Aurora Gaming find a pick off before the Lord, but look at the boss side.
Exactly. Look at the Lord. They're already doing it. They're trying to blitz it right now, and it's actually already done. There's no way for Aurora Gaming to respond to it. Cram for Lord is the trade, but Selangor Red Giants. Oh, wait, it spawns instantly. Can they wait for Cram or no?
I don't think they can.
I don't think so.
Gaming. I think at this point you just let that
Clear. They shouldn't be clearing.
Shouldn't be clearing. They should.
There you go.
Just let it free.
Yeah, okay. They still get it. Innocent swing for the flank.
Side. Looking for an angle. Stormy there as well. TNZ and Yumes in the boss side. Conceal play coming out. Yumes for the big kick, but he kicks him away. Phantom Steed does not connect. Penalty zone there as well. As Rosa tries to defend along with his team. Innocent in a bad spot. Electrifying Beats hasn't popped just yet. Lord finally does fall down. TNZ to the backside. Finally does use it. Aurora Gaming looking for the smack back. Looking for the fight back.
Oh, the fighting time was a bit short. Rosa's able to escape. Yumes is gonna go in with the Ikudo. Oh my goodness, Rosa with the flicker out.
Ram goes in, looking for another target. That guy's an Innocent also, just waiting for the possible mess up. But Aurora Gaming aren't having it.
There we go. Good resources burnt out already. They burnt out the flicker from Rosa. That's big. But the thing is, the Lord will spawn in 110 seconds, so it's aligned with Rosa's cooldown on the flicker. So next, Lord, because if we're speaking realistic here, Aurora shouldn't walk out of their base until the Lord spawns, so they should be safe still. It really comes down to Selangor Red Giants getting that one combo down. Aurora Gaming, as we get into the late game, they're gonna have those frontliners that can actually sustain through a full-on initiation. And remember, for SRG, with the Leo Ward, with Sora, with Farsa, this is a very one-cycle team fight that they're looking for. They're looking to burst their opponents out with a cycle of skills, and if they don't, Aurora Gaming might be able to retaliate.
Gold has been neutralized a bit as well. Down to about 2.8k. Big falling star moon though on to 2 members, but it's just Lunar and Paragu. Innocent also testing the waters here. Yumes as well, constantly looking for the flank. But Rosa and TNZ have not showed face, and he knows those are the targets I need.
That's a smart move for Aurora Gaming. There's no reason for them to put themselves into vulnerable positions before neutral objective spawns in the game. Pagu was waiting in the bush. Knows where Yumes is. That means TNZ can actually still go for more dashes. Now it comes down to how Aurora Gaming deal with the wave up top. Can they clear it or not? Because at the end of the day, Selangor Red Giants don't even need to do anything. We hit the Dragon. Dragon, wrong way. Penalty zone misses as well for the air strike. Comes down. It's NZ is taken off the map. Siggy Boom goes to the back line trying to deal with Stormy, but on the top side, the battle pursues as Rose is taken out and members of Aurora Gaming are falling. Lunar going to be caught low. Crown with a double. And with a double, can he make it a triple? Lunar still stands strong. Siggy Boom in the backside as well. It's just two members against the world. But Sekai's like, forget this. I'm moving on to the base. Lunar trying to defend, but it's not enough. The score is neutralized. SRG make it 2-2. Ladies and gentlemen, our first match in Tennis Indoor Senayan will go all the way. 5 games for SRG versus Aurora Gaming Turkey. The same way it went in MSC 2024, but that was won out by SRG at the end of the day.
5 games to start it all out for us here. Will history repeat itself and mean that SRG wins the 5th one? Or will Aurora change expectations? They've already done that for this series. SRG reminding Aurora Turkey who they are. Monstrous performance. They needed a win like that.
Where are the doubters? Where are the doubters now? I told you they were looking to put on one hell of a show, and that's exactly what they did. A little bit of a taste of their own medicine, denying farm, starving out TNZ, but at least they've adapted the draft a lot better. We're finally not seeing that Yishin Shin anymore.
This is why you don't give Farsa to Stormy. I think he pulled the rope-a-dope very, very well, and it came to the point where in the final moments of that game, I was frustrated for Siggy Boom. You watch the highlights and you'll see that, where is this Freya going? Again, it's a noble effort to try and Valkyrie's descent into the Farsa. That's the right call, like 4 out of 5 times of every team fight, but again, this is Storm you're talking about. He literally just skedaddled out of there, leaving Siggy Boom going, hell am I doing?
Where's my target? Now I just look like, I mean, him not even being able to help defend in the back there, I feel like that was like the perfect snapshot of what the Freya experience was like for this game. It also did not help that all 3 lanes were lost from minute 2, minute 3. They already done. Cram handled the matchup against the Turizla really well, matched the aggression, forced the Turizla back, even though he was brought low, he knew he had the shields. And then on the other side, Innocent had Siggy Boom's number in the gold lane with a score matchup against that Freya. This was the SRG that we have been looking for this entire series.
Yep, and it's good that they've kind of, reloaded their fists and are now getting back into this one more time. And I think for SRG, they've now kind of, hey, you can see the Winter, he's spamming Yums on the shoulder. It's like, finally, you didn't die in the early game. Thank God. And it's like, that's on me, that's on me. And it's understandable that now they have to prove themselves one last time. They've won blue side, but can they win on the red side as well? Because I'm telling you, Aurora Gaming not going to make it easy for them once they have the blue side for themselves.
Now, what I'm going to be looking out for here is, of course, who is going to be our player of the game? Difficult to decide on that one because that was just an old school SRG team performance overall. Is it going to be Yums for you guys? So let's start with Yums first because him not dying, I feel like, was a condition they needed to check.
It's a condition, but it's not, an impactful condition. It's basically the bare minimum. This is the Yums we were expecting, not the Yums that we were waiting for 4 games in. So I'm going to give my nod over to Stormy. I think he deserves it. This is it. Again, in that late game especially, and not to mention the early to mid, he was such a menace. He was literally one of the reasons why all the lanes were won for SRG. So my nod goes over to the Mage Prodigy.
I'm thinking a little more towards the side laners, whether it's either Cram or Innocent, because at the end of the day, Cram is like getting the information, probing out the reactions, and then you have, man, I don't even know how to explain. He is so good at initiating, it's ridiculous. But that Sora play with the Cloud Shift, just to pull them back into the feathered airstrike was way too important. Hopefully we get to see who our MVP is up on the screen, because well played to Cram. Honestly, really opening up that map, and as soon as he's got that Ice Queen's wand, all of a sudden, so much value lost. What are you going to do with Turizla? Walk up to me?
not going to be a good time for the Turismo, and it was not. 3-2-2 in the KDA, but the impact that he brought out was his presence. We were asking about tempo breaking. Don't really see that a lot with Esmeralda if she doesn't win lane, but when she does win lane and can get out freely, yeah, she breaks a lot of tempo.
Yeah, Cram's Esmeralda was a tempo breaker in the lieu of leg kicks. It's not that kidney punch that you feel all of a sudden like, oh, I'm weak. It's more like the leg kick that's been kidding you for like 3 rounds. Like, why can't I stand?
It's the calf kick, right? Not even the inner thigh kick. That one is like immediate impact. Like, ow, I really feel that one. But it's built over time. And eventually, when you put too much weight on it, your ankle is going to snap in half. And that's exactly the pressure that Cram is able to provide for the team.
That's what you can send like 4 dudes, and Cram's like, okay, that means we get a free lord. Okay, that means the 2 turrets that we need to get down bottom are done for. And I love that you mentioned the Ice Queen Wand, because when Esmeralda builds Ice Queen Wand early, it's the equivalent of a Yushin building Blade of Despair early. It means it's over.
Yeah. A lot of value brought out by Cram through itemization, handling the lane, and his presence. And of course, early on, if at 7 minutes in he can do this, yeah, he eventually fell here, but this was like a heat check for Aurora. Do you have the damage? The answer was no.
How bad you want it?
How much do you want it? How much can I take it? And he can take a lot. And all throughout, even though there were members of SRG that fell, they slipped out in some engagements. At the end of the day, Rosa just could not have a good time, because Rosa is one of the carries of this team alongside Sigiboom. If Sigiboom isn't there, then Rosa needs to help cover alongside Tianzi. But Tianzi and Sigiboom together could not find any kills in the back line, meaning that Rosa could not get any value, meaning no items, meaning loss.
Well, I mean, I think Miracle put it the best, right? Because level 1 to 2, you're already super far ahead. Like, yeah, I got this awesome passive, gives me extra range, and I can gun you down in the streets. But now, once we start moving away from it, you lose your battle spell. You are a victim, no matter what. Every single angle, Yums is pressuring you. You cannot walk up. And you can see even for Rosa's side, as soon as Cram is on top of him, hey, he's got Radiant Aura. He's taking negative damage. You don't see his life bar go down as much as it probably should.
Talking about victims, TNZ is one of them. Oh, this Joy could not catch a break. Even like 2 seconds, 3 seconds into the fight, he can't even get damage in. He was using Electrified Beats to clear waves. That's how bad it was for Aurora's jungler, which is uncharacteristic of how he's been performing all series long. Even in the game that they lost on the Lancelot, he still looked like a legit threat. So this time around, maybe reconsider the order of picks, maybe reconsider how their jungler is going to come into play here, because this 1-3-3 Joy, it's not what they need.
It may not be what they need, but I definitely think it was something they were eventually building to what they wanted to, right? 4 items already down for TNZ. He could have turned it, but he needed just a little bit more. He needed that feathered airstrike to disappear, and I think the mid-pick on Rosa was the mistake. This Kimmy had to be shown early, unfortunately, but I think Zutian would have done a lot more with the Fury of the Phoenix to kind of keep that feathered airstrike in check.
All right, think of crafting. What if they switch?
What if they switch?
What if it was the Farsa for Aurora, and then the Kimmy went to SRG? How different would this be?
I feel like even more so that'd be terrifying. Now you have a Chokimi and a Leomord to deal with in the center of the map.
Well, at least the effectiveness on Yum's Way of the Dragon, you won't be able to get as many picks, right? Because then you would need like what?
It would rip
Full
DOT.
the amount of
It's
econ?
DOT, yeah.
But at the end of the day, that you end up splitting their formation, which now I want to look a little bit more towards this Leomord pickup. I don't think Aurora Tricky expected this. This guy suddenly, after three games of the Yi Sun Shin, if I'm not mistaken, suddenly shows up with a Leomord first phase pickup alongside the Farsa and Sora.
I think this was 2 birds with 1 stone. It's taking it away from TNZ, and just, I think, again, kudos to the genius of Arcadia, Becky, and Winter. They're like, we can afford to do it. We can swing it. The last 2 picks will pay for this Leomord, and it did. I think, not to take away from Sick Eyes, but it only did what it did because the rest of the map was already losing for Aurora.
The 2 winning factors in this game really just boil down to Yums not messing up the earlier stages of the game and having a draft that can actually capitalize on it, right? In the previous drafts, we didn't see much capitalization because Yums was just whiffing a lot of those kicks. Now that he's coming back into form, the rest of SRG can really kind of set themselves up. They feel more in sync this time round, but that's the scary part, right? At any point of time, if they can't win on a red-sided draft, I think it might just be over for SRG. It's a make it or break it now that we're here in game number 5.
I'm him. Just the way you're talking about Yums makes me want to be him.
I mean, if you can play a Cho like you, then why not, right?
Do the kick.
Do the kick. Do the dragon. Oh man, it's sad the camera cut out of that moment. That kick was clean.
It was above my head, and I'm like, what, 171?
Yeah, I didn't know you had flexibility and athleticism like that.
Just take my word for it. I backflipped after.
Yeah, and now you speak Turkish too. Well, we're going to be heading to game number 5 for our very first series in the knockouts here at Tennis Indoor. And what a great way to start things off. We're going to be going off on a very short break, but once we get back, we go on over to the decider game. Which one of these two teams will make it to the upper bracket finals first? We shall see. Renmar, Leo, and Gideon will be back. Don't go anywhere.
Realme 15 Pro M7 official gaming foam.